Welcome back to the show, folks. We have another drive time special for you today on the way home. It's Wednesday, midweek, the day after last night's game against Galatasaray, Man United, poor performance, stuff like that. But we're going to be talking about Marcus Rashford. A lot of talk at the moment. You know, his drop-off since February of last season has been absolutely sensational. Up till that point, he was unbelievable. I think he scored 30 goals or something last season. But there's been a lot of calls for Marcus Rashford to be dropped. His form isn't good. You know, a lot of other factors and stuff like that, which we'll get into and talk about. So let us know your thoughts in the comments, especially you United fans out there. Let us know what your thoughts are on Marcus Rashford. Should he be dropped? But then we're hearing as well, there's a cohort of the fan base out there as well that want him gone, want him sold. He was just signed a big new contract. So it will take a big offer to get him out of there, and it will take a big club and stuff like that. Now, when I think of Marcus Rashford, I think of Marcus Rashford as being the fabric of Man United. He is everything that, you know, he stands for everything that Man United is. Brilliant PR, rarely any hassle, you know, does some brilliant stuff outside of the game, the kids' lunches things and all that kind of stuff that he's involved in. Absolutely stellar work from the boy. So you know, he's the pin-up guy basically for Man United. Now, Mason Mount was the pin-up guy for Chelsea, but they banged him out the door. So let us know your thoughts on it. What do you think? But when you look at it and you take in all the factors and stuff like that, yes, there's been a massive drop-off, you know, but he's been struggling, but the whole team's been struggling. So I'm sure that has added to it. You've had a very fluid situation there in terms of players being fit. You've had a lot of changes in terms of personnel. Obviously, Ten Hag has come in, had a very good first season, bounced United back into the Champions League, won a Carabao Cup, got to the final of an FA Cup. You know, so that's quite a decent first season to lay down a marker. But then you expect things to push on. More players have come in. They haven't exactly hit their straps. You look at the issues that they have right through the spine of the team. The midfield, the drop off in the midfield is shocking, which obviously affects the likes of Marcus and players like that in forward positions. Then obviously you have the Sancho situation, the Anthony situation, so a huge change of personnel. Then you have Rasmus Højlund has come in. There's a kind of a different strategy up front. You're playing with a more direct player, all that kind of stuff. So it's changed a lot. But there's a lot of talk about Marcus, and you know, they're talking about things like, you know, words like selfish is being used and stuff like that. We've heard it from content creators and all. That, you know, he should be passing the ball when he's cutting inside and shooting. He should be shooting when he's passing the ball. We've seen it last night. Look, it's kind of, you look at one of those things and, you know, I'm sure he listens to what's being said online that, you know, he's not releasing players at the right time and all that kind of thing. He just wants to shoot. He wants to be the man. He wants to be Mr. Man United. He wants to be seen as being the saviour of the club and all this kind of thing. And then you look at him last night. You know, he made that goal for Rasmus Højlund, and then he tries to square it in there again when he probably should have shot it. Most of us believe that and stuff like that. So he's probably waking up this morning thinking, I can't win. When I square the ball, I'm wrong. When I shoot, I'm wrong. What am I supposed to do, you know? And then you look at it from a different angle and stuff like that, and you think about, well, where is he really at this stage with Man United? And you look at him and you think, you know, what way is it working in terms of a coachable situation? And, you know, if his form has dropped off that much, why does Erik Ten Hag kind of keep on picking him? Is he forced to pick him? You know, does he have to pick him? Is there not a better alternative? We've seen Garnacho come in, play well. You know, you've seen Pellistri on the other side come in and play well. So there is options there, but Ten Hag is less inclined to trigger those options for those key players. I mean, there's talk that Bruno should be dropped, lots of stuff, Casemiro, you know what I mean? But what net effect does that have? Does that inspire the player to train harder? Does it inspire the player to maybe, from a knowledge point of view, take in more about what the coach is trying to get across to people? You know, at this stage in his career, I think he's 25 or whatever it is he even coachable at this stage? Can you turn that situation around? You know, you're led to believe the way Ten Hag wants to play football, and the way that Marcus Rashford is playing at the moment, you might be led to believe that he's probably not even listening to the coach. So if he drops him, what would be the effect? Are you going to get this negative effect rippling through the squad because he's Mr. Man United? Are you going to get him embracing the bit of competition there and maybe stepping up his game and maybe getting back into more regular goal scoring? Do you get a poison situation like the Sancho thing? I'm sure when Ten Hag, dropped that Sancho comment in that post-match presser after the Arsenal game, I'm sure he was thinking he was going to try a different route to try and inspire Sancho to get his act together, train harder, be on time, do all those kind of things that were affected by it. And he mightn't have believed that this was going to be the blow up. So is he sticking with Marcus? Is he trying to push him through? Is he trying to get him through this sticky patch that goes back to last February, remember? Is he trying to play him back into form? Can United afford to do that? Goals have dried up front. He's the guy that the team looks to as the leader, even though Bruno's the captain. And when those goals aren't coming, and then at the back is so fluid because of injuries and stuff like that, so they're coughing up goals as well. Onana has come in and he's been kind of a disaster so far, coughing up opportunities. We've seen it again last night. So when all those things happen, the fan base starts looking for people, looking for scapegoats, looking for where to point the finger to. And certainly Marcus is taking the blunt of this at the moment, because obviously he's the guy that they expect to perform. He's one of the senior guys up front. He was sensational last year up till February. A huge part of the reason why Man United were so successful last season. And now he's just simply not performing. And then you get the whole Wade up thing and the conspiracy thing, that the Alexis Sanchez, the Ozil effect, all that kind of thing. Just signed a big new contract, 300,000+ a week, all that kind of thing. And now he's dropped off the cliff. And it's just typically what happens, rinse and repeat. We've seen it with big players at Man United, get big contracts and suddenly a monumental drop off. But the drop off here is really in the whole team. So it's a real synergy problem with the team at the moment. If you look, typically he operates on that side with Luke Shaw. I've mentioned many times how Luke Shaw is that energy, and he's absolutely pivotal to United on that left-hand side. And when he's not there, the drop-off is huge. Now he's in a situation where he's looking back and he's facing down to a Sophie Amrabat, who's playing in a left-back position, which is not his position at all. He's a midfielder. So that obviously creates its problems. And now he's having to kind of adjust his game as well, because now the new kid on the block has arrived, and obviously Ten Hag wants to play a certain formation, and that's a little bit concerning as well, because that situation seems to be a little bit fluid as well. But now he's being seen as, you're the guy we need to be avoiding that situation into the box, where we know Marcus's game is to cut in from the left onto the right and absolutely bang it, and we've seen him do it many times. But now he has to be seen as to being the provider. Now we see this as well. I mean, in my own team, Liverpool, you look at Mo Salah at the moment, who's always been the go-to guy for goals. But you'll see in the last, say, 6, 8, 12 months, whatever it is, he's very much become a provider as well, where he's cutting in and he's looking to find players, not do all the work himself. You can see by the ratio of his goals to assists and how it has changed and stuff like that. So it's a real difficult one for United ones at the moment, because there's so much stuff going on there at the moment. At every level within that club there's issues. If you look at the ownership, the mess of the takeover, the people in the director of football situation and the CEO, the link to Ten Hag. You hear today that there's a vote of confidence coming out in Ten Hag. He's not going to be sacked and all, but if you're talking that way and you're thinking that way and it becomes a discussionary topic at that level, someone's thinking about it. Really struggling in the Champions League. Looks like they could end up in the Europa League if that even happens. Really bad. Way off the pace in the Premier League at the moment. So things are not good. You talk to United fans and they're bamboozled at the moment by what's happened and what's gone on. And Marcus seems to be taking the brunt of it. But I just wonder, is the arrival of Højlund and that kind of change up there in his kind of role and what the coach is trying to get him to do, is he just struggling to figure it out and find his feet like the team is struggling? Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Marcus Rashford, calls at the moment for him to be sold. Massive calls at the moment for him to be dropped. Does his, there's other questions out there as well. Does his PR, and his contract make it nearly impossible for him to be dropped? Does Ten Hag have to play him? With so many issues going on in the squad, can he afford to drop him at the expense of maybe getting a backlash off the squad? Marcus Rashford, I'm sure, is quite revered within his own squad. I'm sure he's close to nearly all the players. How would they feel about him getting dropped? And I know in the past Ten Hag has made the decision to drop him when he was either late for a training or late for a team meeting or late for a match or whatever it is. But that's more of a one-off kind of thing. This has been a monumental drop on of form at Marcus Rashford's level now since February. So let us know your thoughts. What do you think of this situation with Marcus Rashford? Should he be dropped? And if he's dropped, how long should he be dropped for? Or should he be sold? Is it time to cash in on Marcus Rashford, similar to the way Chelsea cashed in on Mason Mount? And if you were going to cash in on him, what's the alternatives? Who would you like to come in? How much do you think you might earn off cashing in on him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, United fans and football fans. I'd like to hear neutrals as well on this this issue with Marcus Rashford. Is there too many players now not performing at the right level at Man United now? Is Marcus the scapegoat? And is that situation, is that the way it is, basically, that he's the guy that they're pointing to? He's the guy who gets the goals. If he's not doing it and they're leaking goals, it's very difficult to get results on the board. Yeah, let us know your thoughts. As always, folks, subscribe to the channel, the upper tier, hit the bell notification button, drop a like on the video and share the content. And we'll be back this evening at 8 o'clock, I think it is, for our weekly pro wrestling show, where we'll be talking all things Edge, Jade Cargill, and all the latest updates from the different shows. Cheers, folks.